Can anyone around here speak basketball?
It's the Confederacy of Dunks Basketball Podcast. Oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're doing
buddy.
this yeah thing now.
Yeah, maybe I am, okay? Maybe I want a tagline.
Is that 2019 for you?
F
Is that the
off.
sound of 2019?
No.
Jeez.
Listen, I got to be nicer to you for 2019. This is Freddie Rivas speaking. Welcome to the Confederacy of Dunks Basketball Podcast.
Yeah.
And who are you, sir?
I'm Matt Duncan. I'm the producer of this shindig.
Yeah, we're a fan basketball podcast.
We're not professionals. We've never played in the NBA. I know
right.
you love saying all this.
We're not the original source.
Yeah.
But man, we have some freaking opinions, and we're hardcore Raptors fans. Support us on iTunes, rate, review, all that stuff. Stitcher,
Spotify. You know.
All that good stuff. What's our Confederacy of Dunks handles? What's our Instagram?
Instagram is Confederacy of Dunks.
Twitter is
Dunks Podcast.
And Facebook
Is just
I don't even know, man.
The podcast?
I was trying to stump you.
Just the holy jumping. Do we
Okay.
have a handle for Facebook? I don't think we do.
I don't think we do. I'm so sorry. We got a lot to get to. We got it's fun times as always in Raptorland. So let's just start bringing on the guests. First time in person. He was formerly of LA, but he's in Toronto now. Give it up at home for André de Pape.
Yeah. It sounds like I'm actually here in person.
Yeah, there's no way people would know what's going on.
No way. No way.
And that song's like that's a good you traveling to Toronto song.
Yeah, exactly.
Like putting all the stuff in the U-Haul, like eating some big cookies or whatever.
Yeah. Going over the Rocky Mountains in some sort of speeded up fashion.
Yeah, sure. Okay, let's bring on the guest number 2. Is my brother Miguel Rivas. Give it at home.
I like to wait till it drops.
My theme is iconic.
Blobby Samba.
Blobby Samba, everybody loves it. The letters come in, the emails come in, and the comments are hot for that song.
The emails come in.
I get emails, people go, wow, Blobby Samba.
The emails come in.
No, yeah. I've been on the streetcar and I hear that. That's a ringtone for kids.
Yeah, I get recognized on the street, people go, are you the guy who they introduce and then they play Blobby Samba on Jack's podcast? I'm like,
And then they're like, do. Wicka, wicka, wicka. Ooh, thank you, Andre. Okay, let's get to some good stuff. A fan fave segment. Matt, why don't you tell me something I don't know about Vincenzo Esposito? And I don't know anything about Vincenzo Esposito.
That's really sad because you should know who Vincenzo Esposito is.
I know Phil Esposito.
Yeah. He played for the Raptors in their first season. But what else is special about him? He was the first Raptor ever signed before the expansion draft. He's player 1.
oh
my goodness.
that is
Vincenzo
actually
something
Esposito.
good.
He was signed out of Italy.
That's
Wow.
shame on me.
Patient
Yeah,
Esposito.
He's a point guard too, so we're like, okay, this is going to be our guy. He was atrocious. Apparently, he played 30 games and then went back to Italy.
We didn't even like it here.
Did you know that he is also the first Italian to score a point in the NBA?
Wow.
Yeah.
This guy got a lot done in 30 games.
Yeah,
Any
it was a free throw.
Any other first? Is the first person to eat a gelato on the court or what?
Well, he there was another Italian that we drafted, and during his first summer league, that would be Bargnani. Esposito came to support him and act as a mentor.
Wait, a guy
Who was terrible.
a terrible guy
Didn't last
who
us one season.
He's like, let me teach you how to get kicked out of the league and go back to Italy.
You know what? It looks like it worked.
let me teach you how to order a full bowl of pasta to a table.
Yeah, pretty much.
Cool. Thanks, Vincenzo. Anything else for me, Matt? I mean,
Well, that's pretty much it. He's a coach now in Italy, and but he's he retired when he was 40 though. Give him that.
is he a life coach, basketball coach?
No, he's a basketball coach. in the
know.
Italian Supreme League, I guess. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, let's go with that.
I would call it that.
Serie A. That's soccer. I'm so sorry. Okay, well let's move on to some Raptor stuff. Matt, would you give me that Raptor sting?
I'm a fun guy.
Whoa. We're getting mix heavy.
See what I did there? See what I did there?
I saw what you did. And the hashtag came in real loud. So I'm glad you just pulled that at the last second. Because if the RTZ happened, we would all whipped off our headphones.
Yeah, that's fine.
Is it?
Well, these things are built to last. So chuck them if you have to.
Okay, good.
That's what the pod's about. Emotion. We're not professionals. We're
not professionals. Okay, André, let's start with you because you when we were chatting yesterday, you brought it up, and let me know about the famous DeMar DeRozan, Dwayne Casey emotional hug.
Yeah.
So I guess I kind of wanted to see how you guys are feeling about these revenge games. Do you like them? Are you mad at them? Are they like? By the revenge games, I mean the DeRozan Spurs game, and the Casey Pistons game. Like, is it something you enjoy watching, or are you just pissed as a Raptor fan?
Oh, I mean, is
there more coming?
I want to know who's enjoying them because all these revenge games we get are either our ass kicked or our hearts broken. They suck.
I'm loving
They're
them.
the worst.
I'm loving them.
I loved the Casey one too. I felt like that was fun.
Yeah. I did like the Casey one because he got so. You remember him jumping up and down? He fist pumping and like.
Okay, but when DeMar broke free of Siakam and threw down that huge dunk, were you just like pure Raptor fan, like this sucks, or were you not a little bit like, all right, DeRozan, nice one?
Yeah, I was. That's the thing. You get so impressed, and you're like, "Fuck, man! Like, why was he not like this in the playoffs?" Or
At halftime, I remember being like, "Oh wow, that was so fun!" Like, being on the opposite side of DeMar actually having a really good game.
Yeah.
But during the game, I was like, "What the."
Yeah,
God damn it!
Yeah.
That was the worst performance of the year. I couldn't think of anything else.
I was looking at the power rankings, and I did get kind of proud to see like the Spurs at number 2.
Yeah.
I was like, "Hey, good job, guys! Like, I'm cheering for you." DeMar's still like very, very warm place in my heart.
And
of course.
The Spurs have been playing well too. So
They're
it's
like
not
the best team in the league right now.
Yeah, it's not like we lost to Orlando or we got beat by some junk team. Like, I feel like there was a ton of momentum for the Spurs heading into that game, and a lot was riding on Popovich as well. That's something that narratively wasn't really in there. But I feel like if he wanted to win any one regular season game, it was that game, even more so than the one that they're going to play in Toronto later. Like, I feel like Popovich needed to show Kawhi and Danny Green, like, I taught you more than you're just good on your own. Like, I can teach other players to do what I taught you. And I feel like we saw some of that. Like, there's a lot of hands.
Totally.
Like a lot of hands when people are dribbling. I feel like Green couldn't get the ball. He couldn't get a good look. Kawhi actually still got his. Yeah. Surprising. I mean, he did look shook.
I'm still not sure what actually happened in that game for them to be beaten so badly. Because you can go on this narrative that like DeRozan wanted to go off or Popovich wanted to blah, blah, blah. But it was just such a piss poor performance by the Raptors that it was like, maybe there's a few narratives coming in, and I think that was probably the ultimate like complacency game for the Raptors, thinking they could like. I don't think they were looking past it, but they needed some sort of kick in the pants, obviously, because they responded really well since that game.
Yeah. So
I don't know. And something within the Raptors crumbled there.
It reminded me of Spurs of old, because I remember that Heat Spurs finals. Where not the one that went to 7 games, like the amazing finals, but the one where it just started and LeBron and Wade and Bosh and co just didn't really understand what was happening, and every game, the game was over at half. And the Spurs were just like picking them apart, and I felt like we were getting popped, and it was one of those moments where they just put everything together. It's like they skipped the previous 3 games of like game tape and just decided like, no, this is the game we're studying for. Yeah. And we're going to annihilate these guys.
I think I think it's really a testament to Pop. Sometimes you don't understand what makes a great coach coach, but then you see something like that where it's like, oh my God, I hope they burn this game tape because they figured us out. Like, and he built the perfect game plan against us.
Yeah, said. That's where I feel like if there's any long-term disappointment for me, it's that.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if you look at us playing with Kawhi, yes, we didn't have like JV or Lowry, you still see how to bother Kawhi and how to eliminate the people around him. Yeah. Particularly Siakam for me. Even though Siakam, I think he had like 6 assists that game, so he was still okay. But they just like there was nothing. You could see in a game like that Ibaka and Fred, like they can't get it going. If the other team's not giving them some space.
It's wild. The Raptors are that classic team now. If the threes aren't falling, the whole system kind of breaks a little bit. So that's a perfect opponent for the Spurs right now, right? Who attempt so few threes. If you can just have a half court game, suddenly they have DeRozan and Aldridge in the half court. Oh man, they could beat a bunch of teams if there was no threes.
And their only weak spot is maybe like the point guard position.
Yeah,
but we didn't match up. Like Fred and DeLon wasn't really cutting it, and that's a game you really miss Lowry because he would have changed the pace. He would have been hounding these young point guards on defense and really disrupting their flow. And we didn't have the right pieces to match up.
There's no Ibaka without Lowry, it feels like.
Man, yeah.
And I mean, that's actually a great point.
Great point.
What was I just listening to? I was listening to the Dunked On podcast was doing their in-game review, and they were talking about who was it? Sorry, I'm blanking out right now. They were talking about Philly and how Butler expects to be running pick and rolls, and so does Ben Simmons. But with neither of them really doing that, you're kind of not getting what you expect or what you want.
Right.
And I think that's a big thing with Lowry. When Lowry runs the pick and roll, everything makes sense. And the reality is no one else on the team can really run a pick and roll.
Fred can't seem to set people up that
Kawhi
well.
can, but it's like he's really meaning to score.
Yeah. And Fred's best, driving or being off ball. Pick and roll is not his strength because of his size. If he gets switched on a taller defender, he has a hard time, passing out of that. So
nor is it Kawhi's really to set people up.
True.
Well, if Kawhi goes into a pick and roll, you still assume he's probably driving and dunking on someone's head.
Yeah, he's probably not going to feed the big man.
Yeah, he's not getting other people going, thinking about Ibaka needs a shot or whatever, which is how point guards think, right?
Like you saw right away in that Indiana game that Siakam's going to run a little bit harder because he's expecting that that long
football
pass, that Hail Mary pass, and Ibaka is going to go right to his spot at the free throw line because he's expecting the pocket pass there.
Yeah,
and you can expect DeLon to do a couple flips and spins trying to get a layup off.
DeLon is like his own being. He's like his own basketball art piece, I feel like. He doesn't do that much for other people, but he can do these funky, weird things. Like, how about a sneaky play of the season? Do you guys watch the Indiana game?
Yeah.
Where Fred scored, and then DeLon stole the ball right off the inbound pass, but no one knew the game was active. And then I think it was Corey Joseph who was he did one of those when James Harden and LeBron James get shamed for not playing defense, he did one of those things where clearly he's supposed to grab DeLon, but he's pointing oh, what about this guy? And then DeLon just lined up a three. I was it was such a Michael Jordan-esque kind of.
DeLon is Michael Jordan-esque.
Yeah, I think so.
Good point.
I think so.
Nailed it.
Well, a lot of people say he's like Michael Jordan with braces, right?
With clear braces.
Yeah, no.
Everyone calls him Clear Brace Jordan.
Pretty sure half of Toronto is saying that.
If only he had straight teeth, he would just be Michael Jordan.
If you're east of the DVP, you're that guy's Michael Jordan. You know what I mean? If you're west of the DVP, you're more of a Fred guy. But this isn't really a big question, but just to see if you guys have any thoughts. Bye Lorenzo Brown. Miguel, do you have anything nice to say
I liked him more than everyone else did. I feel like when he was on the court, my wife is a huge fan, Elisa, who's been on the show.
Yeah.
And she would always just be like, God damn it, Lorenzo, everything he did.
Yeah.
But I found him weirdly endearing, and I thought that he had a couple huge games. Recently, even that Indiana game, not the most recent one, but the one before, wasn't it him who had a huge steal and just set up a three they're all getting blurred together now. But I just remember a couple big quarters from him in late game situations. He was so undersized. He was so skinny. He did make mistakes, but I liked him. I don't know.
Yeah.
I hope he does well.
Yeah.
We
I
don't
read one
need him,
article and they were like, he's not good enough, but he's going to have a great career in Europe. Like, it's like he's done in the NBA. I'm like, I don't know if that's true.
Are they like laying this guy to rest or what?
Essentially.
Andre,
He will be glue next year.
Yeah, Vincenzo Esposito is giving him a phone call. He's gonna join him on the Milan team.
Hey, you want to come make shoes with me? And
I was the first Italian to score a bucket.
Yes, come join Benito Treviso.
who the fuck are you, Lorenzo Brown?
Actually, Lorenzo.
Who the fuck are you?
Yeah, he calls him up to say that.
Lorenzo's kind of an Italian name. I think
Lorenzo.
he could find a nice spot for him in Italy.
Lorenzo Brown.
Okay, you know what?
Brown.
This turned into us making fun of Brown and Vincenzo. But Andre, do you have any nice words for Lorenzo? Or should we just go back to ripping on him?
I mean, he's fine. Yeah, he's fine. Replacement level player. Like, probably would do productive things on the bottom 3 teams of the NBA, but for a top team.
Right. No, I think that's pretty fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exact.
Back to the Dunked On podcast, I think they were saying something to the effect, this might be a money move. So it might be the Raptors are saving money, and even they're going to bring Lorenzo Brown back if he clears waivers.
I don't know. I feel like I mean, yeah, they have the lowest amount of players they're allowed to have right now.
Yeah,
right?
and
they have to add 2.
Yeah, they could also be clearing way to sign Boucher. Is something I heard.
Yeah,
to like a more of a substantial contract of some sort. See, this is where my cap knowledge.
But
starts to hit the
Boucher is
ceiling.
still good on the 2-way, right? Like, there's no reason why
He's not officially on the 2-way contract.
Yeah, it needs
He's
to be renewed at some point
yeah,
soon.
and in like 12 days.
Oh, okay, there you go.
But he's shown more than most
yeah.
people you get, right?
Oh, man.
At that level. So I think they're gonna.
Yeah, he's a funky player.
I think even his size is just valuable.
Because
And-
he's so skinny, but his shoulders are.
yeah, like plays that like proximity of a Siakam almost. You're like, oh, sort of like that. Yeah, sure. Put him on a big guy.
The confidence to shoot the 3 like that coming in cold sometimes. That you don't get that. Like Malachi is supposed to be this dead eye shooter in the G League, and he just gets like so scared shooting threes. Boucher seems to be ready to shoot
he's
threes.
Speaking of actually, no, this is a terrible transition because there's no
Speaking of.
Yeah, I know. I said speaking of, and I'm like, I got nowhere to go. But I do want to talk about Siakam. So in the same week, he had 2 career highs, 28 points, then 30 points. Hopefully he'll have another career high of 31 points. And you know what I mean? I hope he has breaks a record for career highs in a year by just incrementally going up.
That'd be a good one to look into.
But yeah, like who's had the most career? Because you would
Career
have
highs in one season, yeah.
Because if you jump to like 35, it's going to be tough.
Sunday at a game.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Some guy who just
He had some big moments.
you get 2 points. That's your career high.
Pops Mensah-Bonsu.
Pops Mensah-Bonsu.
But yeah, Miguel, what's next for like let's just take a wild stab on like what's the rest of Siakam's season like?
The most exciting thing about Siakam I think why fans are so excited, not only is that he's delivering, but it's you can't put a ceiling on what he seems to be capable of. I remember when he was first drafted, Casey was like, this guy's going to be starting for us in his 2nd year. And if we all watch Summer League, then you're like, really?
This guy?
Like, he didn't have any skills at all.
He actually started his first year.
I know, but that was
pretty
through
bad.
injury,
Yeah.
right? Well, I forget what the situation was, but he wasn't supposed to start.
Might have been. I don't think that was the
Jared Sullivan?
Was that the Sullivan?
Yeah, maybe. But the point was Casey was saying, like, this guy's going to be so good. And every year he gets, like, a huge level better. So I think even within this season he can grow because he went through a solid dip when he started getting scouted after the first 25 games or whatever. He had a 10-game stretch. He couldn't seem to get it off. Now he seems to be able to get it off with ease again. So, I mean, I see huge things from him in the playoffs. Like,
He's
just
starting
massive things.
He's starting to hit some above the break threes, which is a whole different thing. Like if he can pull up and drop a 3 and not just, I think it's like also 45% from the corner now for 3.
Yeah.
Like he's having
His efficiency is
insane.
insane. Yeah. It's really crazy.
And I think he's definitely pushing that all-star conversation to be like, he's starting to get into territory where it's like I don't know if you can have one good year and automatically be a snub, but he might be a snub.
He'd be a snub.
Maybe like basketball Twitter snub.
Yeah,
the real nerds are like, yeah, but did you look at Siakam?
Well, he would only ever be a coach's pick, obviously, right? Like,
oh yeah.
But
he's not getting voted.
To me, the most exciting thing about him for the playoffs is that, you know, when you play a team a bunch of times in a row and you scout them and you watch all the tape and blah, 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 there's no more surprises really, right? It's all like just execution. Mm-hmm. And for a guy to have a move, as much has been made of the spin move, to have a move that is like arguably unguardable in several situations, there's like 10 players in the league who have that. That's nuts.
Have you guys seen this television commercial where he puts the spin move on Fred VanVleet for like pizza pops or something?
I think it's
that's amazing.
Oh my god!
I saw
Jiffy.
it on. I think it's Jiffy. Peanut butter.
It is Jiffy peanut butter. I saw it, and he puts the spin move on him. That's like, awesome. This is crazy.
That's the best.
Well, Andre, what's next for Siakam?
Man.
Like more products, more spins?
Yeah, lots of product endorsements. Okay, he's going to have his own washer and dryer. Talk about Top Spin with that. I'm
really glad you picked
Spin magazine.
Yeah. Spinning class.
Yeah.
He'll get the spins when he's too drunk.
DJ Spicy Spin.
Yeah.
Man, I think like week 3 or 4 of the season, we all started to go like, holy crap. Like he's on a different level.
I started out the year being like, oh, him and OG.
Yeah.
And then 2 weeks in, I was like, okay, OG, I'm still
couple more years for OG,
Siakam's in a completely different place.
I thought OG would be a much better fit on the starting unit because I thought Siakam is better on the second unit as kind of the facilitator or whatever, energy guy. But yeah, super surprised. But I was kind of looking at it going like, hey, where's the ceiling? I might have even been talking to you, Freddie, or...
I'm sure you were, because that's my entire life. So
on the internet.
Yeah.
And, you know, you kind of look at someone like Sean Marion, right? You're like a lengthy guy that can hit some threes and just fucking crush it on the fast break. And I'm like, this is the guy. Like, this is who he can be. And I'm like, it's going to be awesome in 4 years when he's that good. And like 3 months later, he's kind of almost like...
Is he as good as Sean Marion now?
He's at just
not
putting
peak
up 15,
Sean,
16 points a game. He already is.
You guys talk amongst yourself. I'm gonna find some Sean Marion.
I don't think because Sean Marion at his peak was like they used to call him the Matrix because in fantasy basketball he would like stuff every single stat. Like he would be like 22 points,
at the beginning,
8 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals, 2 blocks,
and he was on the 7 seconds or less Suns.
Yeah,
so he also was like shooting a ton of shots, and Amari, and
he was never a particularly good
3-point
shooter though, right? Like he was kind of
and I think
terrible.
I just saw you. Were you motioning?
Yeah, I was doing the motion of
his
jump shot came right out of his chest, like an Iron Man.
It's a bit of a Lonzo Ball.
I
guess
worse
no. Yeah, Lonzo's more of like a cannon. I remember Kevin Martin used to have like a kind of like
Kevin Martin
load up the cannon type.
Did you guys ever play NBA 2K with Kevin Martin?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That was like you're trying to time the jump shot, and you're like, when does he release this?
And you're like, I know he's good, but
it was always easiest to shoot with Ginobili. I always thought easiest.
So,
he killed a bat.
Hey, that was the coolest thing.
I can't believe they have that in the video game. Every halftime, he kills a bat.
Oh yeah,
it's a mini game. Yeah,
in 2K.
Okay, game. I usually don't like rag on.
You got hepatitis.
I usually don't slam on Raptors halftime shows, but recently I went to a Raptors game. It was a Utah game. Yeah, I'm gonna go in.
There it goes.
No, here's the deal. They didn't even do a halftime show. They're like 4 corners, and
I've seen that.
They just DJ'd a set, and I was like,
not even a guest DJ,
not even dogs racing.
Yeah.
Come
wait,
on.
didn't you see that he had
Simon says?
2 to 4 of the dancers beside him enjoying the music?
No.
Was that not showing up?
That's not okay. Okay.
Okay.
Right.
That's the only time they should go into theater lighting in the arena. All the lights should go down and just be a spotlight on 4 corners as he like rips through the latest hits.
Oh, I like the rips through the latest hits. Somebody works for 4 corners.
It is one of the funnier things of League Pass is catching all the halftime shows.
I love it.
I wonder what a year's worth of subscription to just the halftime shows would be. It's just like
drive you mad.
Yeah, it'd be a sad time. Okay, so by the way, Sean Marion is these are career averages.
Okay.
So they're more impressive because of that. So 15 points, 8.7 rebounds, so 9 rebounds, and 2 assists on 48% from the field.
What about from three?
From three, it doesn't have a career average at the top here.
That's a career average. So
let's see if I can just quickly.
So I mean, his best seasons, I'm sure, were still significantly better than where Siakam's at right
I'm
now.
just gonna eyeball a potential best season here. So in 05-06, he had 22 points, 12 rebounds.
Wow.
From three, he was 33%. And from the field, he was 52%.
That's so incredible.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a huge jump from 15
unreal.
points a game to 22 points a game.
Yeah.
And 12 rebounds a game? What? That's nuts.
He was also 2 steals, 2 blocks.
Damn.
Oh, I mean, that's incredible.
Yeah, so maybe...
That sounds like MVP stats.
But that was season 6. Like, maybe Siakam gets there, you know?
He did have some MVP buzzes, he was definitely like first team All NBA discussion type of a guy.
Okay, how about this? This is a bit maybe it's a bit more fair. So this is year 3 of Marion.
Okay.
19 points, a block, 2 steals a game, 2 assists a game, 10 rebounds a game. So Siakam's in his 3rd year and he ain't averaging that.
Yeah, not quite.
I mean, different teams, different styles, but yeah, so Sean Marion was pretty damn special.
Yeah.
And he, multi-time All-Star.
Yeah, you know what? Siakam sucks.
Yeah.
Actually,
let's
Pascal
terrible,
Siakam.
terrible.
let's end the segment on that.
Siakam.
How about not so spicy dill spice, perhaps?
If
Thanks for laughing at my dill spice joke.
Bring Lorenzo Brown back.
like if Sean Marion is the Matrix, then I think that Siakam is Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Nice. I thought you were going to go another Matrix reference, then Siakam's mouse.
But what am I? There's no character named the Matrix.
No, that's Lawrence Fishburne's the Matrix, right? When he takes off his glasses.
I am the Matrix.
No, pretty sure his contacts say I am the Matrix. Yeah. Okay, you know what? Just before we move on to to NBA stuff, we got to give Norm a little bit of love.
Hey.
Yeah.
So Norm's been struggling so hard. And I mean, I don't think he's been back that long, but I think he's playing with a certain type of intensity. What's the move called where you drive to the rim and it's kind of like you do, like Kawhi does it all the time. It's like is it a drop step?
Okay. Yeah, I know what you mean.
You know what I'm talking about where you
yeah.
kind of jump, plant your feet, wait for people to jump, and then throw like
It's a hop step.
Hop step, yes, sorry. I don't know what maybe a drop step has like that.
A drop step is when you got back to the basket and you drop 1 foot around the guy defending you.
Right.
Nerd talk.
No, I'm loving the nerd talk. But yeah, like, so has Norm just been like, okay, I'm coming at you, CJ Miles? Is that what this is? I'll start with you, André. Or is Norm in his own path?
I mean,
and it's not about taking minutes.
Yeah. If anything, I think he's the second unit kind of needed somebody that's offense first and is really just looking to get his own. And I think that's kind of the perfect role for him, is to get that confidence back. Because if we remember back when he was really heating up during the playoffs 3 years ago or whatever, he was just that guy that would terrify the other team by his aggressiveness, his ability to shoot. He's okay with passing and stuff like that. But I think that second unit in particular needs a bit of a bailout package when there's like 10 seconds left on the shot clock.
I love that you said bailout package. I went straight to just being like a Oshawa resident, very angry at GM. You know what I mean? Sorry.
This guy needs a Lehman Brothers quick.
Yeah. But I think he just he needs a role and he needs something to call on. And I think that second unit, like OG's not going to be that. Fred is... He is that. He's a lot of offense, but he also needs to be the facilitator. And I think, Norm just kind of attacking and being aggressive, I think it pays off really well for him. And I think if he gets his confidence back, he's a totally different player. Yeah, I think so too. And I mean, like, there's no DeRozan or guy who eats up a ton of minutes specifically at the shooting guard spot. Yeah. And Danny Green's had a really healthy year. I think it's Danny Green and Pascal. Yep. Or Danny Green and one other player, I forget, who've played all 41 games so far for the Raptors. Is it Serge? No,
Pascal has not played every game.
Yeah, it's not Pascal, but it's Danny and one other person that have.
I think Danny even missed one game. I don't think anyone has played every game anymore.
OG?
No, I think
No, G
I
missed
think
some-
you're right,
missed some
Miguel,
personal
because Pascal only missed one game, and when I looked, him and Danny Green had both played 41 games, but I guess the Raptors have played 42.
Yeah.
But in my head, I was like, oh, they both played all the games. But yeah, I guess no one's played all the games.
Yeah, that's right.
Which is pretty wild. Okay, we got some NBA stuff I want to get to. So, Matt, why don't you give me that NBA sting?
This is Adam Silver.
You're laughing at your own stuff. Oh, something's coming. That's what's going on.
No, cartoon honks always get me.
Oh, okay. I was hoping. See, the one sound bit I really loved, Matt's cut out of the rotation. The KD thing.
Yeah, well, I want to give that a little break.
Oh, okay. He's giving it a break because I like it.
Matt is an artist. Matt is over there painting, and you don't look at his easel and go, "What's going on here?" You know?
That's what I do though. When I see artists on the street, I'm like, "Excuse me."
It's a lot of blue, buddy.
Yeah, I have some questions. Do you have a license or whatever? Like,
This isn't a question so much as it is a comment.
yeah. Okay, we got another player to get to, and Matt's pulling him out of nowhere. I think this is a fake name. Matt, tell me something I don't know about Garth Joseph.
Okay, look. I've got to scrape the bottom of the barrel a little bit because there's some players on the Raptors roster that, there's not a lot about them. They didn't play very much. Garth Joseph is a real person. Shame on you. Okay?
Shame on you.
Corey Joseph's dad. You didn't know it, now you know.
Joseph's dad.
Yeah, let's just make up stuff about him.
Yeah, this is definitely a person that you could. But you know what? He actually is a bit of a mythical creature. I'll get to that.
This is going to end up in Loch Ness. I can feel.
No, this is like Lost. There's no way this pays off. Matt is throwing up a lot of balls about Garth Joseph.
Yeah,
He's a
what
mythical
number
creature.
was he? What number was he?
Bottom of the
monster.
barrel.
He played 2 games for the Raptors.
Dr. Echo. What is it, Mr. Echo?
Mr. Echo.
You guys remember the 2000-2001 season? We were well into Vinsanity.
Oh, yeah.
And he pretty much just had a really good front row seat for it. He didn't really play much. But he's from Dominica. Do you know where Dominica is?
It's in the Caribbean?
Yeah, it's in the Caribbean. Not the Dominican Republic for you kids at home. Okay, it's different. But he's the only player to ever come from Dominica.
What? Okay, that's pretty cool.
He's the only player to come. He's got some real strange nicknames. He's the,
this is good.
Here we go.
He's the Angel of Death.
Oh!
Wait, I'm not even going to try and make it up, but a couple episodes back, we had the best nickname of all time. What was that? Oh, yeah, so whatever. Sorry.
I can't remember. What was it?
This is bad podcasting.
Yeah.
Listen to all of our episodes if you don't mind.
Go back. Have a listen.
The best nickname.
When he was done in the NBA, he went over and played in China, where he got another nickname in the Chinese media, which was Yao Ming Killer. So did you know Yao Ming was murdered?
What's the morose aspect to this guy? Does he have long nails? Like, what's going on?
He murdered people.
Very goth.
Well, yeah, it seems like you don't want to cross this fella.
Yeah. You listen to a lot of Trent Reznor? What's going on?
And just other than that,
He actually played bass in A Perfect Circle.
Perfect. Okay.
That's pretty much all I have on him. But he had a glorious career that ended when he was 35 in China.
That's
Good for him. That's amazing.
Hey, the nicknames were good, dude. You got a 10 out of 10 from me.
Yeah, I don't know why he's called Yao Ming Killer in China, but if you bring that up when you're over there, they'll be like, "Oh yeah, Garth Joseph."
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I'll bring that up at the Beijing airport next time I go to.
I'm looking for Yao Ming's killer.
Yeah, I'm looking for Yao Ming's. Oh, sorry, the Angel of Death. Perhaps?
That's my favorite podcast. Looking for Yao Ming's killer.
That's good stuff. Okay.
Let's talk some NBA. How about that?
Let's talk some NBA. So I want to talk MVP and not necessarily predicting the MVP, but we're halfway through the season, and I feel like usually a narrative starts to take hold. And it's an earned award, but it's also a narrative based award, and I think that obviously there's people who have been robbed of it or whatever. So I kind of want to see what narratives you think are forming so far. So I'm gonna gloss over a couple things here. So LeBron is starting to rack up the missed games.
Yeah.
Right? Giannis seems like he is the front runner. Seems like we officially have a front runner. I don't know if that's just my opinion. Then you got Embiid. who's playing very well, hasn't missed any games really. You got a sneaker like Jokic, perhaps. Another guy like Durant, who people don't really like, but definitely deserves to be there. And our guy Kawhi, who has missed a significant amount of games, but is really, really putting up an excellent season. And the more games he doesn't miss, like I think if he ends up having a healthy back half of the year, he's going to be right there. And then I guess, Curry's there. Harden's starting to come on. So it seems like the field's pretty open, but yeah. What's your take on MVP anything, Miguel?
Well, you just covered all of it there.
Did I?
So, yeah. No, but I think that the narratives aren't fully set. To me, it's like the setup for what's going to happen is in place because it's the halfway point. But there's still so much to happen. I know maybe the last 10 games kind of don't matter that much, but this next chunk of games is where a lot of things kind of get decided in people's minds.
Yes.
And so I think if Kawhi, this is a homer aspect, a homer take on it, I guess, but if he plays the qualifying amount of games, I think he's like arguably in second place behind Giannis. And the fact that they're leapfrogging game to game based on who wins each night, who's in first place. I mean, the narrative is there for people to write about, to think about, the direct comparison. They're in the same thing. They seem to be on this path to meet in the East Finals, in everyone's mind, whether or not that happens. And I mean, you just can't deny the stats sometimes because you look at the last game against Milwaukee and Giannis had, I forget how many points, 48 or whatever.
42.
42.
Think, yeah.
48. Yeah. 42. And they lost, and Kawhi had 5 steals. You're like, you got to look at this other thing and go, whenever Kawhi plays, he's like a robot. He's perfect. Yeah. He doesn't do anything wrong ever, except some turnovers.
You got some
I think
you got a soft whisper over there.
My take is that Kawhi's going to make a strong push against Giannis. And I think it's kind of those two
that.
right now with Harden sneaking in.
That would make a fun narrative to head into Eastern Conference.
Yeah, it's been like fairly decided. I mean, I guess there was the Harden Westbrook split right up until the end of the year. I remember landing on the Harden side, but people were pretty like Westbrook won, and I think people really were into his narrative with KD leaving. What about Harden? He's coming on super strong, or is it like what's his path to another MVP? Like, does he have one, or is it kind of like he won last year and that's that?
I think his path has to be like mind-blowing stats, and I don't think he's going to get there. But like this run has been probably the single most dominant individual playing basketball. I guess almost since Jordan, like just one person. And like LeBron gets there a lot for sure, but he also, LeBron would be the other one, but his ability to break down other teams' defenses, to score at will, like it's a level of offensive basketball that's insane. But I think a lot of people still have a bit of a like taste in their mouth about him winning last year, where they're like, and it was funny. I was coming in this year and I was going to be the guy that's like, actually LeBron needs to be the MVP this year. LeBron, because I thought he earned it last year. But then he got injured. So kind of soured that one. But I think everybody has a caveat except for Giannis. Giannis is the only one
I think so too.
That it's just like, he's the best player on the best team, racking up stats and
leading in every single category on his team, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm pretty sure he's leading points, rebounds, assists, steals, and blocks.
Yeah.
Which is wild.
And so it's Harden, by the way, right now is averaging 34 points.
On the season?
On the season, 34 points.
I mean, that is kind of the mind-boggling stats you're talking about.
9 assists, 6 rebounds on fairly ridiculous percentages.
Yeah, I mean, that's like, who scored the most? Who scored that recently? The last time I remember that level,
Kobe had a 35-point season.
T-Mac, the T-Mac days.
Way back in the day, there was a season where LeBron and Iverson both had like a 33-point season. That was like very early LeBron.
Right.
It's so weird to think of them
before he was
together.
well-rounded. Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing with the MVP award is it is the subtext to this whole season, because it almost seems like we know the good teams. We know the teams that are tanking. It gets a little less dramatic, except for the West pretty good. But then this MVP conversation starts to really ramp up around the All-Star game when you're really trying to find that other reason to watch these games. But I will say there was one guy in particular we didn't mention, who I think after looking at his stats, I kind of went, holy shit. And that's DeRozan.
Seriously.
After he destroyed the Raptors, I was like, what's this guy doing this year? And
during this run, just holy
he's
moly.
still outside the window, but man, he's so much better this year than he was even last year with us. And even
over 6 assists a game.
I mean, I gotta say,
nuts.
It's crazy.
As to maintain the scoring and keep every year the assist score like a full assist.
And the team's getting wins. And
as a Spurs fan and as a DeRozan fan, I can't even say I'm mildly surprised.
Yeah, me and Freddie had said that in the summer. We were like, there's no way DeRozan doesn't take this year incredibly personally. As you all know, he's a deeply sensitive person. Yeah. And there's no way he was going to shrivel to this.
Okay, here's DeRozan's stats. So he's 23 points a game, 6.5 assists,
That's
6
nuts.
rebounds.
That's nuts.
That's crazy.
Oh my God, a heinous percentage from 3, but his field goal percentage is really good.
Is it in the teens?
It's 17. Oh, that's like, even for DeRozan, that's like, oh dear. Yeah. And
that's pretty bad.
I got Giannis's just for comparison's sake. He's 27 points.
Wow.
6 assists, 13 rebounds.
Oh man. Wow.
Which is pretty
good.
The whole 13 rebounds thing is pretty bonkers.
Yeah, that takes it to another level.
But, if let's say you were going to say the stats between Kawhi and Giannis were like, similar or equal enough that you're kind of like scratching your chin. I think the narrative for both is so fun still because Giannis had, they've been building around him for years. We've all seen this coming. And then it's like coming to fruition that's like feels like the end of a novel for everybody a little bit. But the Kawhi thing that you have to make a point is, yes, Toronto was in first, blah, blah, blah. But they were in first based around DeRozan scoring. Kawhi just got plopped on another team and is having a career season in the NBA. You got to start to wonder, like, where could you drop Kawhi where the team would be bad? Like, seems impossible. If Kawhi's on the team, they're going to win games. Like, there's that MVP element he
has the best winning percentage of all time, right? That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
He's better than Wilt Chamberlain or Magic Johnson.
Oh my God.
That's insane.
By the way,
That's
Kawhi's
crazy.
stats this year are 27 points, 2 steals, 3 assists, 8 rebounds. And on amazing percentages.
And the amazing
and also the whole thing that
gets
he's
boring,
the best defensive player. That
Yeah.
whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's the blocks? Does he have any blocks?
Only half a block a game. So,
so
nothing too impressive, but
yeah, I mean, you got to statistically, you have to give it to Giannis, but.
And what one guy I wanted to touch on in Durant. So for Durant and I don't know if this is too reductive, but I'll jump to you, Miguel. But for Durant and Curry, is it basically like they can't win an MVP if the other doesn't get injured?
I don't know, because there's something about. Oh, this is where the MVP thing becomes so stupid. But there's just something about Durant on the court that. This is sounding like an old man thing, but that defies some stats. I'm sure he still puts up comparable stats for everything that you require. But ask any player in the NBA, like post game after they play the Warriors, every defender thinks of him as the hardest person to guard in the whole league, I feel like. Like, I feel like his combination of offensive skills, I know Harden does everything, but it's a sort of defies the imagination sort of thing because he's only 6'6" or whatever, 6'5". Durant has the size and ability of Harden, and he is playing center half the time.
Yeah.
He basically is Giannis with the 3-point shot times a million. So it's like you forget that, but I think even if his stats are a little bit below some of these other players,
they aren't.
He dominates. He dominates the mind frame of every single game he's in. You can't guard him.
I'm looking at him right now. So on the year, KD is 28.5 points. 1 block, 6 assists, and 7.5 rebounds on much better percentages than Kawhi.
Come on.
That's crazy.
That's the MVP stats.
Yeah.
Plus, very good. It's
The
very
crazy
good.
thing is most valuable. Like if I had a garage right now and there was
I wish you had a garage.
I've got a garage. I'm Jay Leno, guys. It's Jay Leno's garage. Okay. Yeah. So you see, I don't even know what that is.
Take that, Vincenzo. Take that, Leno.
My favorite player, Vincenzo Esposito.
If I But if my garage had like a Vespa, a Honda, a broken bicycle, and then a Bentley, the Bentley's the most valuable car, or the most. But if I had a Bentley, a Ferrari, whatever, 6 luxury cars and a private jet, like, are any of those more valuable?
Well, the jet.
Yeah, I guess the jet.
I know what you mean, though, because I think
LeBron's still the jet.
Golden State is so souped up that it becomes hard to kind of calculate.
Right. Like it's there. The definition isn't clear, but by definition, most valuable puts it in context of what you have. And none of those guys, like, they're all super, super good players, but the collection of them makes any one of them a bit more replaceable than LeBron getting injured on the Lakers, for instance, and the whole team falling apart. Or if Giannis missed a month, they would turn into a 500 team. Or if Kawhi was out for the Raptors, we'd turn into a dominant team somehow.
Yeah, very good. Win almost every game somehow.
The Raptors are still the Swiss Army knife we were last year, but even like more so.
Yeah. That toothpick.
Here's a quick hitter for you guys. I'll start with you, André, before we move on to the quickish questions. But out of the teams, the way I wanted to preface this is that the whole Wild West thing, like, oh, look at the difference between 1 and 8. It's like, that's kind of settling, and a bunch of the crappy teams are going back to being crappy. So who do you think out of the teams that are not in the Western playoff picture, who would you say is going to make that run and end up making the playoffs? So if I'll give you a quick,
give me the quick,
I'm going to give you a quick rundown starting at 9. So by the way, the Lakers are in 8th at 22-19. And then, we got Sacramento at 500 and below. So, Sacramento at 9. Jazz at 10, Timberwolves at 11, Pelicans at 12, Grizzlies at 13, Mavericks at 14. And let me just throw in a little shade here. Let's get Doncic out of the All-Star game stuff. The Mavericks are in 14th. And we're just talking about DeRozan. Sorry.
You terrible 19-year-old.
I know.
By the way, everyone would be so excited to have him in the All-Star game. So
I just want him in the rookie game. You know
I want him
to be there.
Put him in the skills comp.
Yeah.
I said this. I want Luka to be the first player to be a part of every All-Star game activity. I want him Rising Stars game. I want him the skills challenge, the dunk contest, the 3-point contest, the actual All-Star game.
And he has to rap a verse over Pitbull song at the halftime show.
And he can coach the celebrity game. I want him. all Luka all the time.
Players coaching is a good time.
I mean, it's going to be in Charlotte. Like, something interesting's got to happen. You know?
Yeah.
You know?
And by the way, the last team is the Suns. So out of those teams, André, who's going to make a run for it?
Utah. I'm like 1,000% sure Utah's getting in the playoff picture. I think
they're 20-21 now, and they had a really bad start. And I think they've had one of the hardest. I think it's a pretty fair pick, Utah.
Other teams are falling out of their way, too, like maybe the Lakers.
Yeah, and like the only other team in there that kind of gets you thinking would be the Timberwolves, but they just fired Tibbs. So it's like
But will that make them better?
Yeah, it might make them better, but it also like instills this built-in excuse to being like, oh, we didn't make the playoffs because we fired our coach. And
can you imagine if they get Hoiberg? Like, is kind of rumored? That would be so weird and hilarious.
No, that would be the worst. It really would be the worst. Frankly, I love the Chicago Bulls brand, but everybody that's ever gone through that front office and even their coaching is just like miserable.
Yeah, wild.
Yeah, Chicago's like a
best branding,
sneaky mess.
Yeah. That's
beautiful branding. That song, the Bull.
Well, they never changed the logo. The logo's perfect.
Yeah. The United Center is amazing, too.
I went there once, too. It was honestly one of the best basketball experiences of my whole life.
Yeah, you saw Psycho
Great
T,
fans.
right?
Great fans.
I saw Psycho T, and it was like Roy Hibbert heydays, and it was the playoffs. It was Chicago and the Derrick Rose.
Oh, that must have been Rose
Derrick
heydays.
Rose Bulls versus the Hibbert Pacers, and it was a close game. It was amazing.
The Hibbert Pacers, what a time capsule. Right? Just to even say that.
Remember he used to like sleep on an air mattress only in every hotel room?
What?
There was lots of weird stories about him.
I saw him at the mall like 2 months ago in LA.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I was like, this guy's fucking tall.
Yeah,
and I was
he's like a legit 7'2" or something.
I'm like, this guy knows how to defend vertically. This is Roy Hibbert.
Principal
He's just like
verticality.
standing as straight as he can.
Yeah,
The only
he
team
was
I
pushing
want-
a stroller too. So like, imagine like
a huge stroller.
a gigantic man with like a tiny little stroller.
And it's like a vertical stroller.
yeah.
The only team I think that you also can't count out because they always seem to make a weird run is the Grizzlies.
Yeah,
because
They've fallen a bit.
They've fallen a bit, but it's still close enough that a couple things turn their way, and like they're just that group of guys seems to be so competitive no matter what happens, even when they're infighting and stuff. They seem to lack all the skill every year,
And now they
fight their way into it. So I think they might make a push up to like the 8th seed somehow.
And now they have Justin Holiday. So
everything's changed.
Everything's changed.
It's pretty good.
You'd have to think if you had like absolute assassin GM like Masai Ujiri in Memphis, he would be loving this situation right now. He's like, I've got 2 vets that people are salivating over. He's like, I'm going to get every draft pick and asset I can possibly get for Mike Conley and Marcus.
That's a good point.
imagine
when
targeting-
is Memphis going to cash in?
I mean,
Because if you think about like the teams that were like, the Kevin O'Connor blow it ups,
Yeah.
it's like us, the Clippers, and the Grizzlies were the biggest teams that people are like, blow this team up. And the Grizzlies are the ones still standing.
Like, what if and this is insane. It's not going to happen. But like, what if you could pull together some multi-pick end of the bench thing where you bring Conley to Toronto if you blow up the Grizzlies or something, have him come off the bench. I mean, I don't know that, or no, he wouldn't come off the bench. He would start in place of Danny Green, I guess. But like, you can imagine some scenario where the Grizzlies find some title contender and really fleece them for picks.
The absolute best would be a trade with the Spurs where you get Marc Gasol and Conley over to the Spurs, and like the Grizzlies get picks and White and like Bertans or something. But then you get the Gasol brothers, you get Conley. Like, it would be so good.
That would be awesome.
That would be the best.
We all want good things for the Grizzlies.
Yeah.
Okay, before we go to quickish questions, we're gonna do a little tell me something I don't know, if that's okay with you, Matt.
Okay.
I always do this at a different time, but I felt like it's an actual nice transition because he's a nice guy. Everyone loves him.
Yeah.
One of the most entertaining. He's probably one of my favorite players ever. Yeah.
Whoa, really?
That's right. Matt, tell me something I don't know. Okay. About Luis Scola.
I get it. So, Luis Scola played one beautiful season with the Raps a couple of years ago.
Magical.
Was
year.
it one season?
One magical year?
one magical year.
Lord.
What an impression.
Played 76 games, and he started all 76.
Wow.
Did you know when he signed with the Raptors, he said, you can trade me whenever you want, but I'm not going anywhere until I see Niagara Falls?
Dude, really?
Yeah.
I love you. I'm so glad you. Okay, you know what? I didn't know that, and this is already a 10 out of 10.
Mr. Scola, you can come see Niagara Falls after you get traded. It's not going anywhere.
Yeah, you thought that
You're
you
a millionaire. You're a millionaire.
wanted to see from the
Pretty close to
Canadian
Cleveland.
side, guys. It's the better side. He also he said that when he played with the Raptors, he said that if there was a zombie apocalypse, he would be the only one to survive. He would find berries, and he would be off somewhere eating berries. Essentially,
Sounds like an interview with Vice.
Why is this guy so cool? I didn't know.
he gets cooler.
Does he chill with Tony Hawk? What's going on?
He also had a very conflicting emotional reaction to the movie Fast and the Furious 7, where he's not really into that kind of a movie, but it made him cry, and he thinks it's kind of good.
Oh my God.
I did not know that about Luis Scola.
And you obviously knew that he grew up with Manu Ginobili, and
Yes.
he was at one point better than Manu when they were kids.
Yes.
Manu got cut from the national team when he was 15, and he was a little skinny guy, and
Oh yeah.
you know all about that.
There's a biopic.
They also never play ever 1-on-1 or 2-on-2 in Venezuela. So
Wait,
they're always playing 5-on-5.
Argentina.
What did I say?
You said Venezuela, you bastard.
Wait a second. They're not from Venezuela?
They're from Argentina.
They're like the golden
Argentina.
generation.
They're from Argentina that all three of us said Argentina.
That's
At
right.
the same time, twice in a row.
And I kept saying Venezuela?
Yeah. No, you only said it twice. You're good. You're good.
My real question is, what's with the string on his head? What's the deal there? Remember
The
he wore-
string?
He wore as a headband. He wore a thin string.
Oh yeah,
Every
no, that's
single
like
game.
a
that's
soccer thing.
I think it's a promise to
Is it
Niagara
a soccer
Falls.
thing?
That's like, I will see you, Niagara Falls.
He's like, I love waterfalls so much. I want my hair to look like one.
Yeah.
And that's like a soccer thing, you
It's an
know, like all
ode
the
to-
Euro.
Yeah, I think it must
Yeah.
be a soccer
Yeah.
thing.
Well, did you know he liked to vacation in Venezuela?
No. Caracas?
Well, now I don't know what to believe, Matt.
No, he is from Argentina.
No, Matt. It's been like home runs. You can quit with your head, but if you got
Okay,
more,
yeah.
that's cool. Is there more?
No, he's just playing for China right now. He's in China.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's still playing, and he did like a Players Tribune while on a team in China.
Nice.
Really?
Isn't that kind of fun? He just talked about the Olympics.
Wow, Freddie, you knew nothing about Luis
I know, I
Scola.
thought I
You
did.
talked a big game.
I
Did he
sure
ever
did.
win a ring? He didn't win a ring
Yeah.
with the Spurs?
Yes.
Oh, good. Good.
Wait, who? Scola?
Yes.
He never played for the Spurs.
Shit.
He got drafted, but
Oh,
then
not the
the
Spurs.
I'm
contract
thinking,
got all
that's-
screwed up, and then he played for the Rockets.
I'm thinking of
Oh, right.
what's like Umberto or no, not Nocioni. There's another Argentinian who was a key role player for a Spurs team. But listen,
Manu Ginobili. Yeah.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Oh yes. Oh yes. Yes.
That's the one.
Well, I've embarrassed myself. Hope you're happy.
Oh, we
Matt.
all have.
And I guess if you're at home,
Put
I
a string
also
on my head. Oh, my
wet
God.
my pants. Hope that's funny. I guess.
Starting to smell.
Starting to smell. I guess that's funny. Okay, Matt. What do you give me the sting for the quickish question?
Quickish question.
Ba-da-da-da-da, Niagara Falls. Thank you. Okay. Wait, what was that with a car that time in the background? The first one.
That's Jack swerving and yelling at his neighbors.
But Matt has two of these. He's got two of these sound bites. One of them is just a clean,
Yeah.
get that garbage out of here. Then the other one is like, yeah, why are they just like, is that like a progression of him losing his voice?
Yeah.
Or is one like he's in a battlefield?
There's one that's like the high pitched one where then he's like, I can't, and he stops and he can't
Oh,
do the
that's-
game
One's like
anymore.
it's like he's seeing a ghost in his bedroom
Yeah.
in the middle of the night.
Yeah, the second one is him being Scrooged. 30 years young. Jack. Okay. Quickish questions time. Here's the deal. My questions are going to be meandering. That's on me. But you
good.
got to
Oh, good.
answer as
Okay.
quick as you can.
Okay.
Okay? So you
yes.
can't pause to think. You just got to let her fly.
Is it we just both going at the same time?
Nope. I'm going to call
One
your
at a
name
time.
out.
Oh shit.
It's very orderly.
Okay.
Miguel, coming from James. Where would AD's ideal trade destination be from the Raptors' perspective?
The Lakers, because we will not see them.
Okay. André, it's come from Jonathan. He said mid-season awards, question mark. So I'm going to just rifle around some quick ones here.
Okay.
Who is going to win the MVP?
Giannis.
Okay. Matt, who's going to win the most improved player award?
Derrick Rose.
Oh, God.
Oh,
That's
God.
the weirdest guess I've ever heard. But you know what? It's quickish questions. Miguel, exec of the year.
Masai Ujiri.
André, coach of the year.
Bud.
Matt, sixth man of the year.
Sixth man of the year. Oh God! All I can think of is Luis Scola now.
I have a guess. Can I guess for him?
Yeah, can you guess for me? I don't know.
Demontis Sabonis.
It's a bonus. It's always a bonus,
That's
isn't
a
it?
good one. That's good.
Okay, Matt, I'll go back to you for this one then.
Okay.
Defensive player of the year.
Oh, Kawhi Leonard all
Thank
day,
you. Oh, wow.
all night.
Okay, Matt's getting
all night.
that's getting a bit horny.
Play some air guitar.
We're having fun, folks. Okay, Miguel. It's come from Yao. Do the 76ers sign Butler at season's end?
No.
Okay, Andre.
Wow.
A follow-up from Yao. Do the 76ers pose a threat to the Raptors?
To beat them in the playoffs? No.
I think
Or to like sign Kawhi in the offseason?
maybe in
No,
general.
I think in the
No.
playoffs. In the
Yeah.
playoffs.
Oh, no. They only pose a threat in a street fight because Philadelphians are tough bunch.
Guys.
And I think Embiid would like take on 5 people.
Yes.
All right, Matt. Come from Yao.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tua.
Playing without Kawhi versus playing without Lowry. So there's no real question mark here. Just say, give me a word. So playing without Kawhi, give me a word.
Oh, no.
Okay. We're getting into like apples and apples Dixit territory here.
That's kind of 2 words.
Why don't you give me a word for playing without Lowry?
Worried.
Okay. Lots of very breathy there, eh?
Yeah.
Okay, Miguel, let's come from James McCoochie Coo Good Baby. How do we feel?
Thanks, Cooch.
Real name.
How do we feel about Kawhi and assists?
I don't care. It's strange, but I really don't care because he plays in the way that you would say that you don't want to play in the modern era, but he's the exception to the rule. He just like he plays full ISO ball and takes forever and pounds the ball to the ground, and who cares? He wins.
Yeah.
Okay. Andre, the funny enough, the follow up to this question was in regards to Kawhi's assists. Do we want more or who cares?
I want more. Actually, I do. I think,
want a bit more too. Sorry.
Yeah,
Miguel.
I think it limits us.
F y'all.
I think it limits us. I think he can play so many different ways that if he's stuck kind of playing one way on offense, he's not fully realized. So yeah, I do want to see him facilitate more because I think he could also really help unlock, particularly the big guys like a JV and a Surge, because he is such a big forward that I think he can like pull some people into a double team, and I just want to see more assists. I do.
I think he's just waiting for people to stop his first attempts.
I want him to run the pick and roll more though, because I think that's going to be that would be unstoppable in the playoffs, and I want him to feel like it's his team. That's my take. Okay, Matt, come from Yao. At this point of the season, Nurse versus Bud versus Casey. How did we fare in the coaching department? So why don't you order those 3 guys for me? Nurse, Bud, and Casey.
Okay. I'm going to... can you remind me who Bud's for again?
Bud's Budenholzer for the Milwaukee Bucks.
For the Bucks.
So the Raptors wanted him, apparently.
Right. I would put... You know what? I'm going to put my man, Dwayne Casey, right up top as one.
Wow, okay.
Because, I think that Detroit's done a lot better than people assumed they would do. And I'm going to put Nurse second because I think you could argue that not much has changed from the Casey days, but he is bringing a little bit different flavor.
Yeah.
And I like it. And then the third one, I don't know much about him, but I do know that team is too dependent on that superhuman Greek god.
Okay, well, that's a nice take to end
Last
that.
take, hot take.
All right, Miguel, let's come from LeBrian. Can we finally dispense with all of the JV hatred?
Yeah, I think it's weird. Maybe all of us felt a little bit, but like Serge was so good at the beginning of the year. It was like, wow, I guess it's Serge's spot to give up now. But even with Serge playing at full strength, the absence of JV is so much more impactful even than when he's on the court. When he's not there, you're like, oh my goodness, we need him badly.
Yeah, we need a big body.
I never hated JV. I've always been part of the JV hype. So like,
I'm wearing a signed JV jersey right now. I am on Team JV,
and it looks pretty freaking snazzy.
He looks swaggy in all these suits and stuff. So good for him.
Good for him.
They do look good in person.
Yeah,
they must be giant suits.
Okay, André.
Giant suits.
It's come from Jim. Do the Lakers have a chance of making the playoffs without LeBron?
No. I think we just laid it out with the Jazz, Memphis, and even the Timberwolves. I think they're gonna have a tough time.
Okay. Matt, when JV comes back, also coming from Jim, are we going with a full bench on the floor? Fred, DeLon, Norm, OG, JV, or do we still have a starter play with them? Like, are we going to stagger those minutes? Like, is a bench mob coming back? Is what he's asking, I think.
Yeah, I think we're gonna try and get that bench mob going because we need to give Kawhi a little tinsy break when the playoffs roll around. So let's get that mob going. I got the tomatoes. I'm ready to throw them at the mob.
You sound really giddy. So carry on.
He talks in slogans. It's great.
He really does. As soon as I heard the word tinsy, I was like, he's on one. Miguel, who is the next? It's come from Jonathan. Who is the next new Lorenzo Brown?
In terms of that's very confusing. In terms of being cut,
Who is going to be the new Lorenzo Brown? That's what.
who's going to take his minutes and play in his place? Our new signee, Jeremy Lin. No,
okay, whatever. It's good. Hot takes.
No, I think his minutes go to Norm. Norm, every interview with Norm has him bragging about his ball handling skills. If you haven't noticed, so he's like begging to like run some point minutes, which we haven't really seen much of, but maybe he can do it. One thing I want to say about Norm before that we skipped over is like his explosiveness is what the bench doesn't have.
Yeah.
Every other player. DeLon has those acrobatic finishes, but nobody can jump over people or get to places you thought they couldn't get in this bench mob. It's a bunch of like efficient at what they do guys. So the new Lorenzo Brown is Norman Powell.
Okay, I like that's a nice quick answer. Andre, it's come from Tom. Norm is back. How much? I know that's pretty good. How much can/should be attributed to Kawhi's calming effect? I know
nothing. Like I don't think that matters. I really don't.
You hear
Your
that,
moms
Tom?
are best friends.
Oh yeah, the GoDaddy curse just got passed on to CJ. That's what happened, right?
Ooh.
It's insane that the GoDaddy curse is real, but
Yeah.
it is real.
I also think Norm just got so many second chances due to all of our injuries that like he eventually took advantage of it.
Yeah,
So,
fair enough.
Ooh,
By the
sounds
way,
harsh.
we got another question from Tom.
Took a while.
Who, by the way, sliced his finger pretty bad on. I saw the pic on Facebook, so feel better, Tom.
Yeah.
Matt, come from Tom. What impact does flingy hair have on foul calls?
Flingy hair?
You got it.
Oh, the flingier the better. Yeah, you're going to get a lot of foul calls. For sure. Refs can't handle it.
I knew. I'm glad I saved that question for you.
It's taking over the league.
Miguel, come from Tristan. If you could perform any dunk on a regulation hoop, what dunk would it be?
Oh boy. I would want to do the arm in the rim dunk because that would just mean that I could jump so high
Good answer. Okay, André.
and that I would be strong because I'm not strong.
Come
Yes.
from Tristan again.
Yeah.
If you're on the bench if you're on the bench for a team and saw a dunk or a nasty crossover by a teammate, what would your bench celebration be?
Great question. I would definitely grab the towel and like whip it around my head and then start smacking it on the ground. You know,
Nice
like
move.
The smacking on the ground
smacking
is
it. But I will say my new favorite celebration is this air guitar thing that they're all doing. Like
I know.
that is great. I saw that and I just that was Lance Stevens. Oh, Lance, what a dream! I love that guy.
I would like hold my like nose or whatever and make it seem like I was like scuba diving backwards into the ocean. You know what I mean? Like I don't know how I would set that up.
Oh, Freddie on the bench with the Nestea commercial.
Yeah, the Nestea plunge. There you go. Okay, Matt, come from Tristan. Durant pretty much walked into the third row to save the ball against the Rockets. What's something you've done that was so obvious, but you got away with it anyways?
Something I've done that was so obvious.
Keep it clean. Matt's a pervert.
No, one time when I was a young child, I tripped over one of those globes that have the lasers in it in my friend's room, and it smashed on the floor, and I denied it.
Nice, like to him and his mom, or
He was there with me, and I was like, that wasn't me.
So no evidence that you got away with it. You just
But
did
this
lie.
is before smartphones and stuff, so they couldn't be recording at
whatever.
the time.
If that guy's listening to this pod, wasn't Matt. Okay.
You little shit, Matt.
I thought it was they were worth like $1 million.
Well, Matt, that was me.
Sorry about your laser ball.
Okay, last question, and Andre, it's actually for you.
Oh, okay.
It's come from Brian. Ask Andre, he says, what was the toughest part about being a Raptors fan based in LA and administering a Raptors group with a Warriors fan, Anis Esmer?
Yeah. You gotta manage the Warriors fan for sure. But to be honest, it was actually the greatest to be a Raptors fan in LA because the time period I was there was when the Lakers really sucked. So like everyone's attitude about basketball was so casual, and they would just like high five you because you like basketball. And DeMar DeRozan was from LA, so everybody like loved the Raptors, and so. It was pretty easy. And
we've been amazing for like 6 years. So.
Yeah, the only tricky thing was watching games at 4:00 in the afternoon. So
Oh, yeah.
that was the harder part. But I actually like it as well. So
You made it happen.
yeah,
Your work knew it was important.
sure, yeah,
You're
totally.
Like, you're like, sure. I just
Very
left.
important. Yeah.
Cool, guys. That's the podcast. Thanks for doing it.
Episode 92. Thanks for tuning in.
Episode 92. We're
Banger.
we're selling our toques. You know, we might.
Yeah,
even,
we're gonna start. We're ordering more toques.
We're ordering more toques. We're gonna set up a little online thingy.
This winter's wild in Toronto. It's hot. It's cold. It's hot. Like,
Yeah.
you need a toque.
You need
Either
a toque
way.
for when it's hot. Andre, you got anything coming up? You want to plug? You do anything cool?
Yeah, well, I just got a new job, and I'm looking after the marketing for the Rec Room across Canada.
Hey, wow.
So
That's really cool.
Hey, if you're
I've performed at the Rec Room before.
there, you
Same.
It's an awesome, amazing place.
go. It's why I took the job. You guys gave it the thumbs up.
Thanks.
But yeah, so locations in London, Toronto, Calgary, Edmonton. More to come this year, and food, drink, games, entertainment.
Some of the best VR in the world.
Oh yeah.
Amazing VR. You might catch a Rivas brother doing comedy,
Oh yeah.
Ayo.
and they
Hey.
play Raptors games. So there you go. Go check one out. I technically still haven't checked one out, which is getting a bit awkward at work, where people are like, "Yeah, the Rec Room," and I'm like, "Yeah, shit, I gotta go
Yeah.
and actually see this place that I work for." So
You'll see it. You'll enjoy it, and then you'll bring a bunch of new ideas to it.
hello, that's how I do it.
Good luck getting a spot on the basketball machine. It's always jammed.
Okay, well, shit.
Okay.
All right. Do a Confederacy of Dunks basketball machine tournament.
That's our next merch.
You get to win. You get to win a toque.
That's very good.
$1,800 or a $20 toque.
Miguel, what's up? You got anything coming up?
Got rap battles coming up on Friday
We have our show. Yeah, that's right.
that
Friday.
I host with you.
This is the 9th year, everybody.
I would request that you come, Freddie, please.
I'm going to be there. That's a fact.
Okay, that's it.
That's it. Nothing else?
Nothing else.
Holy smokes.
Oh, check out the Beaverton on Crave.
Check
yeah.
out the Beaverton.
Yes.
You got 2 specials, right?
Yes, they're on Crave now, streaming.
Yeah.
Check them out. Or
And
CTV.
It's a Christmas special and a New Year's special.
That's right.
Yeah.
Check this goddamn shit out.
Yeah.
Check it out, man. Check it out.
Everyone, thank you so much for listening to the podcast. We've been getting some emails and stuff, so
Oh, emails.
feels like we're real. We appreciate it, though. Yeah, keep giving us any and all suggestions and all the other stuff that podcast people say, and thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
It's the Confederacy of Dunks Basketball Podcast.